Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Back-to-back SEC videos here. Just finished up Mississippi State LSU. Now we're talking South Carolina, Georgia in Athens. This line sitting at Georgia minus 27.5. Totals at 53.5. Let's go.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Source. Hey, get the Source.
So this line did hit 27 earlier in the week. It was at 27 on Monday. Since then, it's back up to 27.5. Action's pretty split even on this one. Public slightly leaning Georgia with a little bit of sharp money in on the Gamecocks. I feel like entering this season, this game was one of the ones we had circled on Georgia's schedule. Spencer Rattler and the South Carolina offense made a huge leap in production last year, going from 109th in points per game in 2021, 92nd in pass yards a game, and 114th in red zone percentage. That's in 2021. Last year, they were top 40 in points per game, passing yards per game, average passer rating, huge step forward. And not only that, they just seemed to get better as the season progressed, and they finished the year red hot. Their final 3 games, they beat number 5 Tennessee, followed that up by beating number 8 Clemson the very next week, and then almost beat number 21 Notre Dame in a bowl game. They scored a combined 132 points in those 3 games. So entering the season, some people were definitely looking at this week 3 matchup, South Carolina-Georgia, as something to keep our eye on. But then week 1 happened. South Carolina, as you probably know, gets beat pretty decisively by North Carolina. It wasn't a beatdown, but it was clear that North Carolina was definitely the better team that day. 31-17 was the final score. And now this South Carolina-Georgia game just doesn't feel the same. Now, this loss is definitely not on Spencer Rattler. In fact, he was pretty good in the game. His stat line was actually awesome. 30 of 39 with 353 yards. He got sacked 9 times. Now, a couple of them were on him. Definitely took 2 or 3 sacks he didn't need to take. He was not perfect by any means, but this loss definitely was not on Spencer Rattler. This loss was on the South Carolina offensive line, because not only was Spencer Rattler under pressure nonstop and sacked 9 times, but there was no run game at all. South Carolina had -2 yards rushing as a team. DK Joyner, 12 carries, just 23 yards, 1.9 yards per carry. This is UNC's defensive front we're talking about. 1.9 yards a carry from your star running back. And you want to know what? It gets even more depressing than that. Look at how South Carolina ran the ball the following week, last week, against Furman. Just 2.8 yards per carry against an FCS program. They're about to play Georgia. They can't run the ball on Furman, but they're going to run it on Georgia. Are you nuts? In case you forgot, Georgia's pretty good against the run. I mean, the Georgia Bulldogs defense finished the season ranked number 1 in the FBS in effective rush. They look to be picking up right where they left off from last year. They've allowed a single touchdown this entire season. Granted, they've played Ball State and UT Martin, but regardless, we know the Georgia defense is going to be real. And it certainly doesn't help the cause knowing that Spencer Rattler didn't do shit against Georgia last year. Just 118 yards through the air, 2 picks. Now, he's come a long way in Shane Beamer's offense since then. That was back in week 3 of last year. Spencer Rattler really started to get hot in the second half of the season. Now, on the other side of the ball, here's where you can maybe start to find an angle or two for a South Carolina bet. In the opener against North Carolina, yeah, they lost, but they did a decent job on Drake May. Just 269 yards through the air, just 25 yards rushing. If you take a look at what Drake May was doing in the first half of last year, that's a solid defensive job. And Georgia's got this kid Carson Beck at quarterback. He's never started a game against a defense like South Carolina. It'll be his 3rd career start, and he's got solid looking numbers so far. But like I said earlier, they played Ball State and UT Martin. He's about to see an SEC defense for the first time. And if you take a look at the matchup history between these two, the last 2 games in Athens, South Carolina would have covered the number in both of them. In 2021, they lost by 27 even, so they would have covered by the hook. And in 2019, they beat Georgia on their home field. And you can make an argument that this is the strongest South Carolina team we've seen in this span. Actually, that loss, that 2019 Georgia loss to South Carolina, that was the last time the Georgia Bulldogs lost a home game. They've won 20 straight home games since then. But we're not asking who's going to win the game. We're asking who's going to cover the number. And by no means am I going to sit here and tell you South Carolina is going to go into Athens and play Georgia tough. No way. They will be outmatched. But we're talking about a team with a lot of offensive power, and I just think 27.5 is too many. Maybe we need the back door to get it. I don't know how exactly it's going to go down. But I think South Carolina is going to find a way to put the ball in the end zone a couple times. So I'm probably going to take the points in this one. I'm leaning South Carolina plus 27.5 for now. If you want my top bets, parlay of the day, if you want to join the Discord, or if you want to get in on any of the contests, the giveaways, head over to KyleKirms.com and all the information's there on the homepage. College football week 2. We're off to a great start this season. Let's keep it rolling. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.